for most of us. In other words, my experience with family is different than my wife's experience with family. So that disparity and that delta, if you will, if you're an engineer, that is what keeps us from finding common ground when using the word family. Because when I say it, Lana goes, oh, cripe. You know, I don't answer the phone. I don't want to talk to my mom. I just, forget it. And I would kill to be able to talk to my parents right now. Okay? But that, I believe, is something that we can change as well. So, I think what I'm saying then is that building community amongst us is a process by where we build our identity, both individually and, if I can use an overly used term, corporately, as a group of people. And it has to start individually, because then you're going to impact the next person who will impact the next person who then, like leaven, will just work its way through and start to rise. So, all parts exist to serve each member. Well, each member needs teaching and training, and many members will need healing in certain or all areas of community life to fully realize their contribution. So, do we need healing? I know I do. I know I do. Especially in a lot of areas as it pertains to community. So let me put some what I would call spiritually biblical word pictures for being connected. A word picture is exactly what it says. It will mean something different to you. I'm going to give a description, but that doesn't mean that that's the description you're going to internalize. So just listen and see if you can see this. So if we talk about being spiritually connected, we could say it's like being a brick in a wall. Are there any builders out here? Anyone that's built walls? Okay. So you have a little bit more intimate knowledge of what this picture means. Because when you build a wall, there's a lot of things going on. So you have bricks, right? That's us. We're all made of the same basic stuff, right? So we can call ourselves bricks, right? Okay. Mortar, the cement, the glue, that all puts us together. It's our salvation. If you're in the church, you can draw a parallel to that mortar being Jesus Christ and being our salvation, or our commission. Reinforcement, because some walls, depending on their height, some walls, depending on their length, require a certain type of reinforcement, specifically at the base of it. So the reinforcement would be the foundation, which supports the weight of the wall. Framing, which would be structure. Right? So you ask a question, how is the wall constructed? The wall is constructed by laying the bricks upon each other in the presence of the mortar. But you don't lay the bricks vertically in alignment. It doesn't work that way. If you did, it would work. It wouldn't be as strong. Right? So as you lay them together, they form an overlapping strength to build the wall. So I don't want to create the spiritual image of building a wall, because we're Christians, we don't want walls, but a wall would be a good way to describe how we help each other. We build on top of, we are laid on top of one another. We have each a portion of weight to bear. We add a portion of strength to the wall, or to the church, or to the community. Okay? So what's the wall used for? Protection, primarily, right? What happens when one brick is removed from the wall? Weakens it, doesn't it? And if it's removed from the right spot on the wall, it can be detrimental to the whole wall's health, more or less. Okay? So then, the second word picture. It's like being part of a body. Most of you, if you've been in church, you've heard this one before. You've heard how the one body, many members. We're talking about, in this case, we're talking about scriptures from Romans 12, 4 and 5. It says, just as each of us has one body with many members, and these members do not all have the same function, so in Christ, we who are many form one body, and each member belongs to all the others. And then if you look up Ephesians, now I took this portion of Ephesians out of the Message. It's verse 25. Speak the truth, no falsehoods between us. What it adds up to then is this: no more lies, no more pretense. Tell your neighbor the truth. In Christ's body, we are all connected to each other after all. In the body, the connected parts grow together. So we all end up growing at our own rates, but we grow together. Through the teachings that you hear, through the worship that you share, through the connections that you make, coming out and doing things together, those all help us grow. So what are the parts of the body? Well, hands, feet, arms, eyes, lips, tongues, noses, toes. Name one. Okay, which part is most important? I'd like to ask you. It's a lot of jokes that come out of that one. But I won't.
Being quiet.
But I won't. I know. I won't.
Good job, Lana.
So here's another question. Can a single part exist on its own without the body? Cut your hand off. Lay it on the table. Will it live? No. Which part is more valuable? I think I asked that. Most important, most valuable, kind of the same. And do they all grow in the same way? Nope. Just look at people who have hair. Or the lack of hair.
Thanks,
I wasn't even talking about you, Joel. I was looking at you because you're a comfort. You're an anchor. I'm looking at you. So, all right. So it's like being, this is the third picture. It's like being a sheep in a flock. Psalm 100, verse 3. In the NIV it says, know that the Lord is God. It is He who made us, and we are His. We are His people, the sheep of His pasture. So if you said to me before I became a Christian that you're going to become a sheep, Jack, I would have looked at you and probably said a few expletives and walked away. But I am a sheep because I follow the Master. The Master's voice leads me. The Master's voice guides me when I listen. And that happens sometimes. But the other part of this is that I follow my shepherd. There's another verse that I'm going to throw at you. It's 1 Peter 5:2. In the NIV it says, "Be shepherds of God's flock that is under your care, serving as overseers, not because you must, but because you are willing, eager to serve. In a flock, the sheep are protected and cared for." So let me ask you this question. If you're a sheep, are you also a shepherd?
Yeah.
I believe you are.
Should be.
I believe you are, at least from the standpoint of how community works. Because you do have a responsibility to love one another, and love takes a lot of different forms. It's not always just hugs and, hot chocolate and
Sunday
things
mornings.
like that. Sometimes it is giving the hard word. Saying to somebody, look, you have got to stop doing that. That doesn't mean I don't love you. That means I love you more. I care enough about you to say, I don't think you're doing it right. And then we have a discussion instead of a fight.
Yeah.
We discuss it. We say, well, wait a minute. How do you think I should be doing it? And you share. Lana's really good at this. She does it to me all the time.
Me too.
But then we have an exchange, and we say, and we realize that, hey, wait a minute, we really did misunderstand each other, or, oh my gosh, I actually learned something.
Yeah.
Oh, somebody else taught me something. No, that can't happen. Not in today's society. I am me. I am all knowing, all seeing. You're not. We rub against each other. Each one of us has something to give someone else. Has something to say to someone else. Something that they see in you that they've experienced that you haven't experienced. So it's important to get this. Very important. So the fourth and final word picture, it's like being a member of a family. Okay, so what did I say earlier? So that
my family was messed up.
I did, didn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Not directly. Just inferred.
Okay. So Romans 12:10. This is in the Amplified Bible. Love one another with brotherly affection as members of the family. Then Romans 8:16 in the NIV. The Spirit Himself testifies with our spirit that we are God's children. So there's your definition, folks. Remember we were talking about our definition of family. There is our definition of family. Right there. We look to the Bible for our definition of family because that's what we're talking about here. Do we have family in other ways? Yeah, we do. Ultimately, family is something you are responsible for. Not just the church. But we're all responsible for bringing that together. And that means that Sunday morning is cool, but maybe Thursday evening is cool too, and maybe Tuesday evening's cool, but maybe Wednesday evening's cool. It just depends on your particular circumstance. And so if you want community, go get it. Start it. Reach for it. There is no right or wrong in this unless you are not following Jesus.